Namaskar, my dear friends. So let us see the circuit design for MSPM0L series that we have already talked about. The device was MSPM0L 1306 32 VQFN package. Okay. So we have already seen what are the features and what are the different, like GPIOs available with different capabilities. So let us say we already know it has 12 bit of ADC, it has a DAC, it has UART, it has I2C, SPI, it has PWM capabilities, timers. Okay, so there are 4 timers. All right, so these are all things available. It has very good GPIOS capability. Some of them are having 5 volt tolerance as well. Okay, and the voltage supply also we already know that it will be taking up 1.7 to 3.6 volt. So we'll be having VDD as 3.6 volt. Sorry, VDD will be having 3.3 volt. And if you remember, the programming was SWD programming. So this will be having 2 signals. One will be SWDIO and another one will be SWCLK. So this is how it will be programmed. So let us start with the circuit design. What we do first is, this is the main microcontroller. As you can see, U1, which is MSPM0L1306. Okay, so what I have done is, all the pin numbers have been arranged in the manner. Okay, so you can see pin number 1, 2, and then 3 is NRST, so that is reset pin. I have taken it down, and then 4 and 5 are power supply pins, that is VDD and ground, and after that all 6, 7 up to 16 are here. Okay, and then you can see from 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, all pins are arranged in the same manner the way it is. However, 23 and 24 I have taken it down. Those were programming pins. Okay, so it becomes a little easier for the circuit drawing, and it is a very recommended method to keep the reset and the programmings little separate so that you can identify easily. Okay, now what other things that I have done is, almost all the IO pins I have connected with a 0 ohm resistor. Okay, so this 0 ohm resistor will be utilized if you do not want I2C functionality. You can remove it and you can connect this particular GPIO to some other functionality. Okay, so this is how the utilization will be. Anyway, this is a little bit recommended method for the learning purpose. However, if you are going to design very low cost solution, then you will definitely not be needing to put the resistors in the lines. Okay, so these are unnecessary resistors that will be taking up the space as well as your cost also. Okay, so let us see what we have done here. So we have done is, what is the is like, we have connected reset button. Okay, so this reset button is directly connected to the NRST pin. Okay, and once you uh, push this button, what will happen? This particular NRST pin will be pulled low, and this is how the microcontroller will go in reset position. Okay, however, TI recommends that it has to be pulled up always, then only controller will enter into start mode, right? Otherwise it will never start. So the reason is, we have to put 47K pull up with the VDD pin. So VDD is utilized as 3.3 volt regulator. Okay, and there is a capacitor 10 nanofarad which is grounded with this particular pin. Okay, another thing is, we have VDD pin. So VDD pin was supposed to be connected with 10 microfarad capacitor and 1.1 microfarad decoupling capacitor, and these capacitors should be as close as possible to the VDD and VSS. Okay, and VSS is grounded. There is a VCore pin, that is power supply pin, which was used for internal power supply of this particular microcontroller. So you can see it has been grounded with 0.47 microfarad as it was recommended in the design. Now if we talk about programming, so programming is connected with SWDIO and SWCLK, and you can see pin number 2 and 3 are connected, and there are 4 pins in this programmer. So first pin is connected with VDD pin, that supply pin, and there is a 47 kilo ohm resistor as well in that pin, and there is 1 nanofarad capacitor also to the power supply to the ground, and fourth pin is ground. So these 4 pin will be enough for your complete programming. The other parts are, as you can see here, this is I2C pin. So I2C pin is pulled up here with 4.7 kilo ohm resistors. it will depend based on the speed of the I2C peripherals that we will be using. So either you can utilize 3.3K or 2.7K or maybe even 6.8K or 10K. So as you go on increasing the resistor value, as you increase the resistor value, the speed of I2C line will decrease, that you know, right? And as you decrease the resistance value, the speed will increase for the I2C lines. So this is my SDA line and SCA line. However, what I have done is I have not written almost all the functionalities of each pins, but we will show you what is the method to identify a particular I2C lines and in what basis we have given this particular pins as I2C functionalities. Okay. Similar to that, I have taken UART, RX and TX lines, and they are also pulled up for the benefit of, like later on if you do not land up in any issues. Okay. However, most of the time these pull-up pins will not, pull-up resistors will not be needed. Okay. So for better accuracy on better design, you always keep a pull-up resistors on both the lines, UART RX as well as UART TX. Okay. There are some of the ADC lines I have put it like press ADC or pressure sense ADC, then pressure sense 2 ADC, temperature ADCs. These lines can always be changed for other purposes. Okay. And at the same time, I have utilized some temperature sensors for alarm purpose as well as address line. Okay. Good. And other functionalities we will be adding, but all these port pins I have taken as it is so that we can rename them based on our requirement. As and when we add some LEDs or maybe push buttons or dip switches or any other functionalities. Let's say ADCs we are adding or DAC we are adding or PWM outputs we are taking. So we will be able to rename the pins according to our need. So hope it is now very clear that how we have approached this particular circuit design. Now the very first thing that we have to understand is how we are going to power up this particular system. So we need power supply. Okay. So for that we will have to design a regulator. So let me give you a identification. We'll talk about the down one. Okay. So down is a 300 milliampere rating regulator which is going to be changing to converting the voltage input to output. So this is the connector for the input voltage which is going to take 5 volt input and it will convert to 3.3 volt output. So this is how this VDD will be 3.3 volt. Okay. Now if your circuit requires little bit of higher current rating or something like that, then you can always go ahead with LM1117 IMPX. Okay, so this is also 3.3 volt regulator, but capability is 800 milliampere. Okay, and even input voltage range will be little bit higher, which will be up to 16 volt input. So even if you give like let's say 12 volt input or maybe like 9 volt adapters are there and even 6 volt adapters are there. So 5 volt also it will take. So it is going to take up around 2.7 volt to 16 volt. All right. So all these voltage ranges it will be able to take very easily. And at the same time, this will be giving you higher current. So the recommended, regulator will be LM1117 for this particular application because you will be needing higher current. At the same time, if you do not require a lot of current for your application, a specific application where you need to have just 100 milliamperes of current consumption, then you can always go ahead with TPS7A2033. Okay. Okay. So we'll proceed with this TPS7A2033 because we don't need a lot of current in our circuit design. Okay. Good. So we have understood our power supply as well. Now let me take you to the some of the peripherals that we have attached. Okay. So let us first connect some LEDs. How we can connect it is, let us say we have the VDD. So what I have done is the VDD pin has been converted to 3V3 by a resistor. Okay. So this is my 0 ohm resistor which is connected in the middle and the net name is changed to 3V3. Okay. Now what is happening is here one LED is connected which is D3 and this 3V3 connected with a resistor and going to the user LED 0. So this user LED 0 you can connect it to one of the microcontroller pin which will be any port pins. Okay. And whenever microcontroller pin will go low, okay, then it will start glowing. then this the diode will, this LED will start glowing, okay, because the MCU is acting as a sink. So this is what MCU acts as a sink. MCU pin acts as a sink. So similar to that, user LED 1 also you can connect with one of the user IO, port pins, and this is how it will be done. Now coming back to the resistance value, okay. So this resistance value you have to understand, like what is the current amount that you need, right? So let's say this is the VF that is needed for this voltage, like forward voltage drop across the LEDs. The resistor values can be put it in such a manner that the current requirement will be sufficient for the LED driver, okay. So it can be, since it is 3.3 volts, so it can be reduced to, let's say, 470 ohm, okay, or even 330 ohm or 270 ohm also, okay. So this is how you can go ahead. Same way you can do this for this particular resistor. Now another method to connect your LEDs to the microcontroller pin is directly driving through the MCU pin. So this is the, let's say, user LED 2. So you directly connect it to some of the port pin, let's say RA3 or something like that, okay. Sorry, PA3 or something like that. PA3. So in PA3, what will happen? This user LED2 will, as soon as my microcontroller pin goes high, so here microcontroller pin is going to work as source pin, and this source pin will be driving the LEDs. And the same way you have to start with the like resistor value change based on your requirement. So what is the main like process of changing these values or understanding these values is, let us say you have forward voltage VF and you have V in which is 3.3. So what will be there available? V in minus VF divided by your R, this resistor, okay, will be the current that is flowing through the LED. And maybe your LED requires, let's say, 2 milliamperes of current or 5 milliamperes of current. So try to keep 2 milliamperes, that is more than enough for your LED indication, okay. Anyway, the LEDs are tested for 20 milliamps. However, 2 to 3 milliamps, 5 milliamps will be more than enough. Otherwise, if you draw more current from the microcontroller, then microcontroller pin will get damaged, okay. Good. So this is another method. Now suppose you need very high current for the LED to drive. Let's say you need around 30 milliamps or something like that. In that case, you cannot drive directly through the MCU pin this way, okay? Or otherwise, even microcontroller pin cannot sink that much high amount of current, okay? Let us say you need to drive some RGB LEDs or something like that. Then you can go ahead with your MOSFET driver. So in that case, what will happen is, this is the port pin that will be connected. This is my MCU pin, that is IO, that is connected here at the gate, and then this is my drain, this is my source. So what will happen? Let us say we have 5-volt input which is going to drive the LED, and this is the LED that will glow when my microcontroller pin goes high. So this is how gate will get excited, and once get excited, there will be a connection between drain to source, and this will start the LED to glow, okay. And whenever you will go low, then what will happen? The LED will start like not glowing, like it will go off, okay. In the same manner, based on your requirement, you can change the resistor values for the current consumption that you need. At the same time, the MOSFETs that you can utilize is, very common MOSFETs are BSS 138, okay. There are a lot of MOSFET that is available with many companies with the same part number BSS 138, like NXPRIA is there, onsemi is there, Diode Incorporated is there. If you want, you can you can utilize 2N7002 also. This is also very popular MOSFET, okay, for your applications. So alright guys, I hope you have understood how we can interface our LEDs in different manners with our GPIO pins, okay, of the microcontroller. So alright, we will proceed with the next peripheral connections in our next session. If you do have any questions or any queries regarding this microcontroller section, please put down your questions in the comment box, and I shall be able to answer you out